Men over 50. These 5 exercises fix 95% of your body problems and restore energy naturally. Most health advice wasn't written for a 50-year-old body. It was written for a 25-year-old's metabolism, a 25-year-old's recovery time, a 25-year-old's hormone profile, and then handed to everyone else as if none of that mattered. It does matter. Today, we're looking at 2 pieces of standard advice that quietly work against men over 50 and what the research on aging physiology actually supports instead. No hype, just the mechanics of what changes after 50 and how to work with them instead of against them. Point 1, the cardio first myth. Common advice. If you want to lose fat and protect your heart, prioritize cardio. Get the heart rate up, log the miles, burn the calories. That advice isn't wrong for a 30-year-old. It's incomplete for a man over 50. The researched reality: starting in your 30s and accelerating after 50, the body loses skeletal muscle mass, a process called sarcopenia. Left unaddressed, most men lose somewhere between 3 and 8% of their muscle mass per decade after 30, with the rate increasing after 60. Muscle isn't just about strength. It's metabolically active tissue. It's where glucose gets processed. It's a major driver of your resting metabolic rate, meaning the calories you burn just existing. Prioritizing cardio without resistance training accelerates a problem that's already working against you. You can run for an hour and still be losing the tissue that keeps your metabolism functioning well. This doesn't mean cardio is bad. It means the sequence matters. For a man over 50, resistance training isn't optional cross-training. It's the foundation. Cardio supports it, not the other way around. 2 to 3 sessions a week of resistance work targeting the major muscle groups does more for long-term metabolic health at this stage than 5 days of cardio alone. Point 2, the eat less, move more oversimplification. Common advice: weight creeping up, eat less, move more. Calories in, calories out. Mechanically true. Practically, it misses what's happening underneath. The researched reality: 2 things shift after 50 that make blunt calorie restriction less effective and sometimes counterproductive. First, anabolic resistance. As men age, the body becomes less efficient at using protein to build and maintain muscle. The same gram of protein that built muscle at 30 does less work at 55. Research on aging and protein metabolism suggests older adults often need meaningfully more protein per meal, not just per day, to trigger the same muscle building response. Cut calories broadly without protecting protein intake, and the body doesn't just lose fat, it preferentially loses muscle. That's the opposite of what you want. Second, testosterone and recovery capacity decline gradually with age, which affects how the body partitions energy, where it stores fat, how it responds to stress, how quickly it recovers from training. So, eat less without a strategy just accelerates muscle loss while doing little to fix the underlying metabolic slowdown. The better approach: prioritize protein first, build a moderate calorie position around it, and let resistance training preserve the muscle that's doing the metabolic heavy lifting. It's a smaller lever, pulled more precisely, not a bigger, blunter one. Point 3, the longevity science angle. Why different works better. Here's the part most advice skips entirely. The goal after 50 isn't just weight management, it's tissue preservation. Muscle, bone density, mitochondrial function, these aren't cosmetic. They're the physical infrastructure of long-term independence and energy. Longevity researchers increasingly frame this stage of life around a concept sometimes called the anabolic window of opportunity. The idea that resistance training and adequate protein intake in your 50s and 60s have an outsized effect on how much function you retain in your 70s and 80s. In plain terms, what you preserve now compounds. What you lose now is harder to rebuild later. This is why the standard advice built around calorie math and cardio-first fat loss undershoots what's actually needed. It optimizes for the scale. It doesn't optimize for the body's actual trajectory. The better model treats muscle as a long-term asset to protect, not a byproduct to ignore. Every session of resistance training, every gram of protein at the right time is less about how you look this month and more about how capable your body remains a decade from now. That's the shift, not burn more. Preserve more, build from there. Point 4, what this looks like in practice. None of this requires extreme measures. It requires precision over volume. On training, 2 to 3 resistance sessions a week, focused on compound movements, squats, presses, rows, hinges, that recruit multiple muscle groups at once. Add cardio on top, not instead of. On eating, distribute protein across meals rather than backloading it at dinner. Research on muscle protein synthesis in older adults suggests spreading intake, roughly 25 to 40 grams per meal depending on body size, triggers a stronger response than one large protein-heavy meal a day. On recovery, sleep and recovery matter more at this stage, not less. Reduced hormone output means the body needs more support to repair what training breaks down. Skipping recovery undercuts everything above it. This isn't a bigger commitment than standard advice. It's a more targeted one. Less time spent on generic cardio, more time spent on the two levers, resistance training and protein timing, that the research says actually move the needle for this age group. So here's what this comes down to. After 50, calorie cutting without a protein strategy and cardio without resistance training both work against the body, not for it, because they ignore what's actually declining at this stage: muscle and bone. The researched reality is more precise. Protect protein, train with resistance, prioritize recovery. Do that, and you're not fighting age. You're preserving the capacity that carries you through the next several decades. If this gave you something useful, subscribe to PrimeSpan After 50 and turn on the notification bell for another research-backed video on longevity science, vitality for healthy living. I'll see you there.